For more than 30 years, Rowan Atkinson has been a global symbol of pure, innocent laughter. With a worn tweed jacket, a thin red tie, and that unmistakable puzzled expression, Mr. Bean became one of the most iconic characters in television history. He made the world laugh without saying a word. Yet the man behind the silent clown was carrying a truth he kept hidden for decades. Rowan Atkinson was born in 1955 in County Durham, England, the youngest of four brothers, raised on a quiet farm far from the glamour of show business. While other kids were loud, playful, and socially fearless, Rowan was different, painfully shy, introverted, and often the target of teasing. He struggled with a stutter, which made him retreat deeper into himself. Words felt like heavy stones, silence felt safer, but silence also became a door into something extraordinary. From a young age, Rowan observed people with remarkable detail. He watched their gestures, their awkward pauses, the way their faces changed when they felt embarrassed or confused. While the world never noticed the quiet boy in the corner, Rowan was building something inside, an imagination sharper than anyone knew. When he entered Oxford University, he didn't arrive with confidence or dreams of fame. He came with fear. Performing in public terrified him. Speaking on stage was almost impossible. But one evening during a student production, everything changed. Rowan walked onto the stage, unable to deliver his lines. Instead, he improvised, a silent, exaggerated character fumbling through ordinary actions. The room burst into laughter, not at words, but at pure expression. That moment lit the spark. Rowan realized there was a kind of communication beyond speech, a universal comedy style rooted in body language, timing, and vulnerability. And slowly, this silent persona grew into the character the world would later know as Mr. Bean. But here is what fans never understood. Mr. Bean was not just a fictional creation. He was Rowan's refuge, a shield he could hide behind when the world felt too overwhelming. A character who didn't need to speak, because Rowan himself was tired of struggling to. Mr. Bean allowed him to express emotions that he could not express as Rowan Atkinson. The confusion, the innocence, the social awkwardness, they all came from a deeply personal place. And as the character grew, Rowan felt something bittersweet. The world loved Bean, adored him, celebrated him, worshipped him. But very few people truly knew the man behind the face we all thought we understood. At 70, Rowan Atkinson now admits that Mr. Bean was more than comedy. He was a mask, a survival tool, a way to exist in a world that didn't always feel welcoming. And this revelation is only the beginning. When Mr. Bean first aired on January 1st, 1990, Rowan Atkinson expected modest attention, maybe a small British following, a few laughs, and a quiet career as a character actor. He had no idea that within months, the silent oddball in a brown suit would become one of the most recognizable figures on Earth. The show spread across continents like wildfire. In countries where English wasn't spoken, Bean became a universal language. For many children worldwide, their first understanding of British comedy wasn't dialogue. It was Rowan's expressive face and clumsy innocence. But while millions embraced the character, Rowan felt something entirely different. Fear. He now admits that fame was never his ambition. Not even close. Rowan described himself as a man who wanted privacy, who preferred small rooms over crowds, who felt safer blending into the background than stepping into a spotlight. Yet Mr. Bean dragged him into a world he had never prepared for. Everywhere he went, restaurants, airports, even quiet countryside walks, people expected Bean. They didn't want Rowan Atkinson, the thoughtful, soft-spoken man. They wanted the clown. And when Rowan refused to act like Bean in public, fans became confused, even disappointed. At 70, he reveals the heartbreaking truth. "I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to perform." Behind the scenes of the show, Rowan's perfectionism turned filming into an emotional battlefield. Every scene, every facial expression, every stumble and flinch had to be done with mathematical precision. What looked effortless on screen was the result of endless retakes, silent frustration, and physical exhaustion. Crew members recall Rowan pacing alone, rehearsing tiny gestures in front of mirrors for hours. His friends noticed the toll. His family felt it even deeper. The global success of Bean placed enormous strain on Rowan's personal life. Travel schedules became longer. Public expectations became heavier. His marriage faced growing pressure as the character consumed more and more of his time and emotional energy. The world saw a playful character. Rowan felt a tightening cage. Then came the films, Bean in 1997 and Mr. Bean's Holiday in 2007. Massive box office hits, beloved worldwide. But privately, Rowan felt drained. After wrapping the sequel, he admitted to close friends that he couldn't continue much longer. The anxiety, the perfectionism, the pressure to surpass himself. Everything was eroding his love for performing. He feared disappointing millions. He feared being trapped forever. But most of all, he feared losing himself. And yet, he didn't speak publicly about his struggles. Humility had always been his shield. Silence had always been his comfort. Until now. At 70, Rowan finally acknowledges that the fame surrounding Mr. Bean was never a dream come true. It was a burden he carried alone. A life he never wanted, tied to a character the world refused to let go of. After decades of silence, Rowan Atkinson has finally confirmed what the world long suspected, but never wanted to accept. He will never play Mr. Bean again. Not because the character has aged, not because audiences have changed, but because Rowan himself has reached a moment of truth. At 70, Rowan reveals that Mr. Bean was born from a deep place of insecurity. Bean allowed him to express feelings he struggled to show as himself. Awkwardness, confusion, vulnerability. But as years passed, something shifted. What once protected Rowan began to confine him. Bean became a shadow he could never outrun. Rowan explains it gently, but with unmistakable finality. "Mr. Bean helped me survive, but he also kept me from living." For the first time, he openly speaks about the toll the character took on his mental and emotional health. The perfectionism, the global pressure, the expectation to always be funny without speaking. It all became too heavy. Even filming short scenes drained him in a way few people understood. Rowan admits he started stepping away, not because he disliked Bean, but because he feared losing the man behind him. Fame amplified the character so loudly that Rowan's own voice felt silent in comparison. He says the most painful part wasn't retiring Bean. It was disappointing fans who loved the character more than they ever knew him. But now, he asks for understanding. He wants peace, anonymity, and time for the quieter life he always preferred. Rowan ends his revelation with a bittersweet comfort. "I may be done with Mr. Bean, but he belongs to the world now. He will live on in your laughter." The curtain is closing on a legend, not in sadness, but in acceptance. A final goodbye from the man behind the face we all thought we knew. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more emotional celebrity documentaries. Your support helps keep these untold stories alive.